It's springtime, and that means it's time to suit up for Calgary's only festival dedicated to Japanese pop culture. We're talking Otafest on Living a Creative Life. Behfar, thank you so much for joining us here on Living a Creative Life. I'm wondering, what brought you to Otafest? Like, what's your creative outlet?
To answer that, we have to kind of go to the origins of Otafest, which started as the dedicated otaku anime club at the University of Calgary. It was at the stages where you had to get like bootleg VHS tapes from Japan, like mailed over and like manually subtitle them so that everyone would get into this like small cramped room and watch anime together. And eventually they were like, why don't we make this bigger? Like it seems that interest is growing.
Can you let me know who comes to Otafest and who you would like to see at Otafest?
Everybody. So we have, people from all walks of life. We really strive to make Otafest an inclusive space. This is a great opportunity for parents to also understand what their children are into. This is this hobby that I may not be familiar with, so why not immerse myself, figure it out for a weekend, and maybe, we can connect more based on that. Maybe I can help them make their next cosplay or create their next AMV or just have another opportunity to bond with my kid. Once you're into anime, once you have that interest, your age no longer matters. And you see that when you come to Otafest. You see like the 15-year-old talking to the 60-year-old and they're having an argument about who they ship, like they have, like it doesn't matter anymore. You're just two people in that moment talking about a shared passion that you both enjoy. At the end of the day, I don't consider other conventions out there as competition. I consider them as fellow organizations with the same goal. At the end of the day, we're here to serve our attendees. At the end of the day, we're here to be a safe space where people can express themselves. And if someone else out there is doing that too, then that's better for everybody. We have to fight the fact that the larger we grow, the more impersonal the festival becomes, and we really enjoy having that like person-to-person human interaction with people. And I don't think I'm willing to give that up. I want to make sure that everybody has a fantastic experience when they come. I don't want people to come and feel lost or feel like they don't know what to do or feel neglected, right? So it has to be a balance.
Gladzy, thank you so much for being with us here on Living a Creative Life. What brought you to Otafest?
I am basically trained to be an illustrator and a designer. So that's what I took in school at Alberta College of Art and Design, which is now Alberta University of the Arts. So it's just so you know, it's the same school. I started when I was still a student. I was like a first year college student. I didn't have any friends. And I was like, I want to find friends and that like anime and stuff. And so I found a bunch at Otafest. We love drawing, and so we love designing our own cosplays. So that kind of added a little bit of a flair to my art practice throughout these years.
Tell me, what was it like to find your favorite person to cosplay?
Moana is still my favorite. She has brought so many opportunities for me, and not just through social media, but just to be able to be invited as a guest at Otafest. I felt like I belonged, and it was so great. And then throughout the years, I just started expanding my community, kind of meshing together and doing collaborations together. I think that's my favorite part of that.
As a cosplayer who has done so many things, what is it like to get the feedback back from your community? How does it feel when people recognize you and fangirl? Because, I'm fangirling right now.
It's very humbling, but also like, imposter syndrome. I'm like, am I actually doing this? Is this me? Is this happening right now? And I think one of my favorite parts is seeing other artists as well cosplay my designs. I love being a mentor sometimes too, because when people ask for feedback, then I just kind of tell them what to do. It is really hard to stay passionate. Like sometimes you have creative burnout, especially I do this for the living. So for me, I'm held accountable to make these cosplays because I do group cosplays. So we're all in this together. If you don't finish that, come on. So we all motivate each other along the way, not just not really pressuring each other. But it's more like, because I'm doing this with my group, with my girls, with my best friends, I'm determined to finish this for this convention.
Remember, For a complete rundown of the art scene in Calgary, visit yycwhatson.ca, your one-stop shop for arts and culture listings in the city. Celestia, thank you so much for being here on Living a Creative Life. Tell me a little bit of how you got to, artistry and anime and Otafest.
When I was in middle school, I found anime, and that kind of reignited my love for art. I'd always been that kid that was just doodling all the time and not paying attention in class. And then I found anime, and it was like, oh, here's a whole new reason to doodle. Here's a whole new way to waste more time. Because I had new favorite anime characters, and I had to draw them. And then I went to my first Otafest, and I found Artist Alley. And it was just full of people like me who were loving the same characters and drawing the same characters. And their art was a scale. Like, it wasn't just professionals, it wasn't always polished. It was just people who were making what they loved. And I think that was what kickstarted it for me, because I realized loving art is what matters in making it as an artist. And Otafest showed me that you could. My partner and I we were gonna start a cosplay group, and it was gonna be called Quest Cosplay. Her name is Quinn, and I was gonna be Celestia, so we would put them together and it would be Quest. As it turns out, that's a lot harder to pursue than one might think. But I had already made all the branding for Duchess Celestia, and then I was like, well, what do I do with this now? It's very strange to see how it all came from, I have to make this name work, to an actual brand surrounding it.
You're busy working in art, loving art. Tell me about art as a lifestyle, because it seems like that's what you are doing.
I mean, I feel like it can be exhausting sometimes when you make it your everything, because there's a lot of pressure to make as much of it as you can and to make it as good as you can. But that pressure feels more manageable because it's how you wind down. It's the doodles that no one ever sees. It's the art that you make just because your hand wants to be moving. It's hard sometimes to draw the line between personal and professional and set that boundary, but art is definitely a way of living for me rather than just a profession or a hobby. My ultimate privilege with Otafest has been to help facilitate that for the next generation of anime club kids with nowhere else to go. And I think it's one of the biggest honors I've ever had to help organize Otafest and see those little kids that were me in 6th grade finally finding their place where they can love what they love.
Otafest takes up shop at the Convention Center May 10th through 12th. For a complete rundown of this Japanese pop culture festival, check out the Otafest website. And if you want your creative event to be featured on our show, you know what to do. Send us a note. See you soon, or maybe sooner, on Living a Creative Life.